Hello and welcome to this Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes video brought to you by Darth Solo aka Charlie C. In today's bounty hunter video we will be using a team I call Thermal Hunters. Thermal Hunters, if used correctly, can beat even Emperor Palpatine seated teams at their greatest. Before we start today's video, I'd like to say thank you to the GRDS, also known as the Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes Guild Recruitment Discord server. Thank you for sponsoring this video. It is an awesome Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes resource with almost 5,000 users, a 24/7 active admin team and tons of know-how. There, players have the opportunity to find the perfect guild, and guilds have a unique chance to recruit members. On average, players looking for a guild find a match within 30 minutes before a guild snaps them up. Have your guild go from 0 GP to 80 million GP in under 2 months by utilizing this awesome and free resource. So join today and good luck with your search. On to the video itself. The Thermal Hunter team is a team of 5 bounty hunters who all have something to do with thermal detonators. This team can have massive turn meter gain and deal great damage before the enemy team even gets to react. So the team members is as follows in the order of the most important to least important. Boba lead, Zam, Dengar, Greedo, and Cad Bane or IG-88. I say both Cad Bane and IG-88 due to IG-88 having a higher damage output than Cad Bane and a lot more debuffs, though Cad Bane's payout has something to do with thermals. It helps the individual user for who to use between those two. In this video, we will be discussing the players on the team and in brief, who they are, what they bring to the team, and in my next video we will be going more in depth on how to mod and how their theory works. Boba leadership is the most important part of this team. First of all, Boba's leadership brings a lot to the bounty hunter team, but most important is this part. And gains 15% turn meter whenever a thermal detonator explodes. This means every thermal you get 15% turn meter. I will come back to this part later. Sam. Now, she needs rework, but she is what makes the Thermal Hunters Thermal Hunters. As you see here, her basic and her first special, the See What Sticks, gives turn meter with every time it explodes. She gets 28% turn meter for each living scoundrel ally and a 15% turn meter per thermal detonator, and Sam gets a 70% chance to get speed up, whilst 2-turn thermal detonators, which just shows that this can basically give 100% turn meter to Sam every turn. I will get back to numbers later after I finish going through each player. Dengar and his ability Mini Mind Mayhem is the next piece in the Thermal Hunters. This is an awesome high damage AoE, and the best thing is after the Omega he has thermals. As the explanation says, finally apply 1 thermal detonator to a random enemy target for each bounty hunter ally. This attack can't be countered. So he puts down 5 thermal detonators, and that can't be countered. It can be avoided or evaded, but it can't be countered. You can have 5 and 1, you can have them spread out, and it's just generally fantastic for Sam's basic. Greedo's explosive sabotage. He gets 25% turn meter for each thermal detonator that explodes, and 15, so he gets 40%, but back to numbers later. The downside of this compared to See What Sticks with Sam is that this is only for 1 turn. Cad Bane's payouts gives thermals, as his payout shows here. It also shows that whenever an enemy evades Cad Bane, he gets a thermal detonator stuck to them, and that cannot be evaded. He also gets a 15%. IG-88 has no thermals, but he has a high damage output and also debuffs, which helps Boba Fett's execute, and also Dengar's assist basic, and a debuff is always good against the enemy team. They've seen the abilities of the team, and now let's look at the speed. Boba gets 15% per thermal exploding, Sam 15% per plus how many bounty hunters are alive, and that's 80%. So 95% per thermal exploding. So if that's 2, Sam gets 180%. No, 190% turn meter, meaning she's guaranteed a turn within the next few turns. Dengar gets 15% per thermal exploding, Greedo gets 40% per thermal exploding, and Cad Bane gets 15%, and IG gets 15%. In other words, you can have Sam constantly refreshing her turn and throwing out new thermals. This was a short intro into who is on the thermal team. I'll be making a separate video on the theory, modding, etc. But if you can't be bothered to watch that, here are some ground rules. Greedo and Dengar throw out their detonators ASAP. This gives Sam a chance to use her basic and get the turn meter rolling instead of using her own. Boba's ability block AoE, which it is something you need to constantly use so that they can't use their AoEs, especially when we're talking about Vader and Palpatine, and also Thrawn's Fracture and ability a turn meter swap. Sam, you need to think through it all the way. Should you explode the thermals, or if all the bounty hunters have 100%, then you can throw out more thermals. This team needs a lot of patience and practice to learn, but once you get it, then you know it, and you'll never lose a game. Well, rarely. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Keep on gaming!